So hello and welcome back to another episode of Scenes 4. Today I'm out with the SL because I wanted to give this car a little bit of a detail in today's episode. So I was out last week at the Wheels on Wednesday meet down at the Morgan factory near Malvern. I just noticed this car was starting to look a little bit untidy, just needs a bit of a clean. Now I will admit to you that I haven't actually cleaned this car since last year, and that's because I don't really take this car out in the wet. I do keep on top of the sort of daily cleaning. When I take it out, I will give it a quick wipe over with some waterless wash. But I do find after you've used that several times, you get almost like a slightly greasy layer built up on the surface of the paint. I do find it extremely hard to get this car to a streak-free shine. So the only way I found to deal with that is by giving it a proper clean with some proper car shampoo. I also noticed while I was out last week that there's a few swirl marks in the paint, so I'm going to try and tackle those after giving it a quick clean today. They don't look that bad, it is just a few light sort of swirl marks, light scratches in there. So I'm hoping either using the compound or if you're using a polish, just getting them out by hand. I think it's just a darker colour, so it will show up those swirl marks and those scratches a lot more than a silver or a white, for example. Now, before anybody comments, I've put the roof up. I haven't knocked it down purely because I want to give the soft top cover a little bit of a clean underneath there, so I've left that loose for now. And yes, I also know a little bit of trim is a little bit loose. It's absolutely fine. It's still holding in place. I'll probably need to look at that at some point. It's another job to add on to the list of this car. So the SL has now been cleaned, it's been dried off. I can put the roof back down again so I can do this panel here. And it's looking okay at the moment. I have just clay barred it. I did one man's across a couple of surfaces. It just felt a little bit bitty. So I decided to do a clay bar. Not much came off with the clay bar, a few bits and pieces. So it was worthwhile doing, but it wasn't the end of the night if I didn't do it. But I'm glad I have in a way. So the two options now. We go down the easy route and I just apply this Maguire's Ultimate Compound, which I use for all the sort of polishing up and getting all into the swirl marks and scratches out. So we're going to try it with that first of all. We're going to do it by hand. So that's the first option, do it by hand. Second option is that we get the machine polisher out, which granted will do a better job, but I'm really hoping that because it takes a lot longer to do by machine polisher, I'll probably be here for at least a good hour, hour and a half doing this. With doing it by hand will probably just take me about half an hour to go around the whole car. So I think what I'm going to do is just do half of the boot lid first of all by hand. The sun is out and about a little bit, so I'm hoping I'll do half of the boot lid before everything blows over. We'll do half the boot lid, polish it all up, and then we'll see where we stand, and we'll try and see if the sun comes out for 5 seconds to inspect. There are little swirl marks around the car which do come out when the sun does come out very briefly. So yeah, it does need a little bit of something just to jazz up the paintwork. At the moment, it's looking a little bit flat purely because I have done a clay bar on it, and it always does look a little bit flat after a clay bar. It needs something, a product to put on just to shine it up a little bit. Now I was quite surprised when I did actually wash the car off. You might well have seen this in the footage, that the amount of beading on this car was quite surprising. I didn't expect there to be that amount. So obviously it's had some sort of wax or some sort of coating at some point. So I think we'll probably will put another hard shell, turtle wax, hard shell wax over the top of it though, just to see everything in, because the clay bar will have stripped off a little bit of that. So yeah, anyway, let's go and get on with this. Let's start the compound by hand and then we'll see how we get on. Well, the good news is that it's better than it was. It certainly looks, that part of the bike certainly looks worse. I've got nothing on there at the moment. This is the compound on here. And it's definitely a noticeable difference, but it's not perfect. I wonder if I could go over this with the machine polisher and it'd be better, to be honest. So, might have to fire the machine polisher. We'll go and do this panel. It's starting to get a bit hot, this car now, so I think we might possibly move it back into the barn, give it 20 minutes to cool down, which conveniently is just the right amount of time for me to go and get a cup of tea. And then we'll come back out and yeah, we'll get cracking with the machine polisher. So we just moved into the barn, let the paint cool down. It's nice and cool now. Ideally, you don't want to be doing machine polishing in the full sun on a baking hot day because the products are going to end up baking onto the car. It's a lot harder to get the products off. So if you can do it either in the shade or in a garage or something, that's a lot better. So you might also be wondering, how am I going to be able to tell that the machine polisher works? Well, if you have one of these, an LED torch, which most phones have as well, but I'm recording on my phone, so I can't use that. But I will try and see if I can get some footage in. If I can get the torch on manually while I'm filming. I'm quite lucky in the barn as well that we have a light at the back, so a bit of sunlight, we have a window rather, at the back, and I can actually lean over at the right angle and I can see the reflections of the light. Really, daylight is the best thing to measure whether you've got all the soil marks out. Torches are good, they're the next best alternative. You can also buy online fairly cheaply. Detailing torches are quite intense torches. Usually got a few LEDs in there and you can actually use those as well, and they're actually meant for detailers. I've just realised I haven't got much of this product left. However, there is an Autofinesse Renew Paint Restorer, which is basically their Autofinesse version of Maguire's Compound, which I mean to try for quite a while. I've had this for ages waiting for this to run out. It's never quite run out. So I probably might give this a try as well. So anyway, without further ado, let's actually crack on. So I found a position in the car and actually can have a look at this using the window at the back of the barn. And I have to admit, I've just seen half of this. Feels absolutely lovely. It's just so smooth compared to this side. Even with the clay bar, this side still feels quite rough. But this side felt absolutely lovely. Am I happy with the finish? It's okay. I would have liked to have got a few more of the swirl marks and scratches out of this car. Admittedly, I'm only using very soft pad, which is all I feel comfortable with and all I've done before. So if I want to get in a little bit more, I might have to start experimenting with a slightly harsher pad. The one I've used is the Autofinesse Revitalize. It's pad number 3, which is the softest pad. I also do a 2 and a 1, 1 being the harshest, 2 being somewhere in the middle, and then 3 being fairly soft. So yeah, I would like to have got a little bit more out of this, but it is what it is. This paint job on this car was done in 2013, so it is a 12-year-old paint job. I can't be expected to look brand spanking new. Maybe one day I might learn how to use a harsher pad and go over the car again. but actually the shine on this side shines better, the feel of the paint is so much better. So I think it is worth doing a machine polish. Another thing I'm only going to do up until all the trims on the side of the car. I'm not going to be doing anything below that because a lot of them are sort of widged. So it's very hard to get the machine polished into all those little ridges, so I might just do those bits by hand. And then to finish off with, all I'm going to be doing is putting a little turtle wax hard shell wax on there. It's something I used to use years ago, and I restarted using it again, and they reckon up to 12 months protection on there. Now obviously these cars don't go out, so that level of protection, how long it lasts, will vary, and if you use a daily driver, of course it's going to last a bit less, but apparently it's up to 12 months protection, so hopefully we shouldn't have to do this for another year. I did do the SLK earlier this year, which you've seen again on machine polish. Back of the bonnet was looking a little bit flat. The bonnet's coming up a little bit, like it could do a harsher machine polish. So that might be a time when I actually can maybe look at purchasing a harsher pad and actually going looking at that bonnet and actually doing it up a little bit more and see if I can get a better shine onto the bonnet again. But yes, overall I'm very happy with the way it's starting to come up. So I suppose I'd better crack on a little bit and go and do the other side of the bonnet, the other side of the boot lid rather. I'm getting tired now, aren't I? And continue to do the rest of the car, and I'll catch in with you guys in a little bit. So I think I've done about as much I want to do on the SL today. I think I want to go and have a sit down now, have a bit of a break. The SL now is absolutely feeling amazing. It feels silky smooth to touch. I think it's a bit of a multi-process approach to get to this. I think clay barring, and then obviously machine polishing and the turtle wax hard shell polish has really come up well, and have really combined to make this lovely feel on the SL. I have done a spray ceramic wax on the bottom areas because it's a little bit hard to get into using the hard wax, so that should be enough for that. So yeah, really pleased with how this car's come up today. Now I can't go how well it feels, absolutely silky smooth, that's what I'm going to say. Still would like to get in, maybe I can look at getting a slightly better pad. I can get into the paint a little bit more, but that might be something to do sort of over the winter really. So I want to just do this little video today just to show you guys what I put in to keeping these cars clean and looking smart. The paintwork on this car is about 12 years old now, so I think it still looks very smart for 12 years old. Not perfect at all. It has a few little bits of just bubbling up underneath the paint around the car, but not enough to get me worried about that. It's still a really smart looking car, even though the paintwork is a little bit older. So just a quick one for you wrap up for today. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That is the goal of the channel for this year. We're getting very close. I think at the moment we're 958. I think at the time of filming, so that would have probably gone up by the time this goes out next week. So if you could hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. If you have already and you're watching, thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. It is totally free to do, and you get to see more. If you don't have to say, if you don't see more of me, you get to see more of my cars at least. So thank you very much for everyone else subscribed to the channel already, and again, hit that subscribe button below if you'd be so kind. So it's going to be goodbye from me, goodbye from the SL, and we will see you again very soon. Goodbye.